Hey everybody, it's Ryan from Pi Records, and I'm here with the Bali Lamas. How are you guys?
Good,
Hello,
man.
Brian.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Great to have you on. Great to have you on. I'm a huge fan. I would listen to your album all day. Actually, I was outside for a while with the dog, had it on. Of course, my phone's pretty loud for some reason. I don't know why, but my neighbors were kind of looking at me like, "What is that guy doing over there with his dog listening to this loud music?" Anyways, so why don't
Surf music in the middle of winter.
yeah, right. So why don't we start by introducing yourselves and telling me what instruments you play? We could start with you in the upper left.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Chris. I play guitar in the band.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Yuri, and I play baritone guitar.
Oh, awesome.
Hey, I'm John. I play harpsichord. Oh wait, we don't have drums. Sorry.
So are you guys
All the
a
harpsichord players.
trio, or do you have a second guitarist?
No.
Nope, it's 3 pieces.
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Three
So-
pieces, no waiting.
Right. The less amount of people, the less the less amount of time it takes to get everybody in one spot, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt, that's for sure.
So
Yeah, we talked about possibly adding like a fourth person at some point, but it just seemed like we have a good chemistry with the 3 of us, so we didn't want to mess it there.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
So yeah.
So tell me about your album that came out recently. It's really it's a really interesting mix of surf and some other genres. Tell me what you guys were kind of going for.
We just
Basically,
didn't
we're
want to suck.
trying to write a record for dogs. So apparently that is dogs dig us. We're fine with that.
Yeah, humans can only hear half of what's going on in every song, so the rest of it's at a frequency inaudible completely. So it's really brilliant.
We've also discovered that dogs have no disposable income. Consequently, we have sold 0 albums.
That's one drawback to writing a record that was designed for and written specifically for dogs' ears. But we have dog owners like yourself who pick up the slack a little bit and help us out. So no, but it was a process getting the record done. From start to finish. We basically started writing the songs on the record when we started the band years ago. So we did a sort of an EP demo sort of thing to get started, and then John joined the band. Our drummer, we switched drummers sort of a couple years back, and John joined, and that's when we decided to go for the full length and record the record.
Which John engineered in his basement.
Oh, awesome. Did you guys record it live? What was your technique?
We pretty much did. We did a set of tracks live, and then sometimes it'd be go back over and do some overdubs for like solos and a little bit of that. But most of it was live. So
yeah,
awesome.
Most of it was live. We wanted to keep the energy of the 3 of us playing live together as intact as possible when we recorded. To try to stay true to what we sound like if you were to come to a club and see us. We didn't do a whole lot of extra overdub stuff. There's a few songs that have a little bit more maybe added into it than you might hear if you came to see us play live. But for the most part, we tried to keep it as true to that as we could. And it definitely helps having both John and Yuri are whizzes in the studio in their own regards. They both have their own little studios in their homes, so that did not hurt when we were doing the recording.
Cool. What are specifically to your instruments, each of you, What are some of the influences that you think went into this record specifically?
Chris, you want to start?
Well, like you said, we are a surf band, but there are a lot of sort of little. We're not a traditional surf band. You're not going to hear us playing, a straight version of Walk Don't Run or Wipeout or something like that. We do some covers, but we do like an REM cover in a surf style, or we do a Cure song in a surf style. So we sort of, I kind of come from the sort of thematic side of surf music, almost like soundtracky kind of stuff. So, thinking about, spaghetti Western and spy movies and that kind of stuff, as well as surf music. So it's an instrumental melange.
Nice.
How about you, Gary? What do you think?
Yeah,
Really a bunch of these songs.
I think why we're so good is because the toot
We're
my
so
own
humble.
horn. It's because we're very different as people. I think this is our first real surf band that the three of us have been in like ever. I didn't really grow up listening to surf music. The stuff that really I think I translate over is like I love Link Ray, which
Yeah.
it's close, it's like guitar-based instrumental music. I love Link Ray, and Henry Mancini is awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, yeah, I try to bring all those little like chromatic things he does. It's a nice flavor that, yeah. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Cool.
John?
Yeah, I kind of come more from like the Murph Dinosaur Jr., just bang the crap out of everything, just get it all out there. And then jazz too, which are like kind of the two, I listen to a lot of like noise punk sort of stuff, and then a lot of jazz. So I kind of have a little bit of the feel, a little bit of the swing, and a lot of the energy. So I kind of mix those two together. And that's kind of where I put my 2 cents in when it comes to the band.
Why is it that drummers are always so much into jazz? It seems
Drum solo.
coincidental.
yeah, because every jazz song has a drum solo in it. That's right.
Awesome.
I used to never really listen to anything but like punk and maybe like new wave when I was starting out, but it was probably, maybe after I hit 30 or whatever, I started hearing some jazz and I was going, man, that shit sounds really hard. Can I say that? That stuff sounds really hard. So I just kind of took it on as a challenge to kind of learn, and the feel of it's just so different too. So, and surf kind of has a little bit of that feel, a little bit of that swing in it too. So that's kind of
Yeah.
one of the things I like to put into play.
So did you put your record out yourself, or was there somebody that helped you along with that?
We got picked up by a label, man.
Wow.
We actually had a label put it out, Shirawaji Records.
Yes.
Kind of, we had thought about doing a self-release, but had some other friends in the surf music world who had done a record with Shirawaji, and I approached Mike with Shirawaji, and he was real cool, and we sort of had a good connection, I got a good vibe from him, so we decided to put out a record with him, and it took a while with he had a schedule of releases that he had already established before he decided he was going to put our record out, so we had to wait for a couple other of his releases to come out, even though ours was already done and like in the can, and then with all the COVID. The record pressing plants were just backed up. I mean, it took a while for it to actually get to vinyl. We actually released the CD version a year before the vinyl version came out.
Wow.
Just because we had it done, but it took that long to actually get the vinyl finalized and get it to the press and get it back from the press. So. Yeah, but it's been nice to actually have a label to work with, and the support of the label and the other bands on the label has been really great too. And we're just looking forward to hopefully being able to play some shows with some of these guys because with COVID, it's been hard. We haven't been able to play too many shows, and aside from over the summer when we were doing some gigs outside.
You were playing in Baltimore?
Yeah, we did a few outside shows. We actually did a couple of shows like just in like neighborhood shows. We did one. We rehearsed it at John's house. So one day we just decided we were going to do a show outside in front of his house, and
Property
neighbors came
values
out and were
plummeted.
dancing in the streets and drinking beer and hanging out. Everybody except maybe one lady who came and yelled at us pretty hard.
Turn it down.
And since that was so much fun, we did another one in front of Yuri's house in a different neighborhood in Baltimore. So we kind of moved around, and then I was doing in my neighborhood. There was this sort of summer stage that was being set up, and I helped coordinate booking that. So we did a show there too. So,
Oh, nice.
little things, trying to do what we could, basically.
Yeah, it was like a farmer's market kind of
Yeah.
stage set up there.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys, around Father's Day, around this area, there's a lot of car shows and stuff like that with bands playing at it. Do you guys think you might get into doing some car shows and things like that?
Only boat shows.
I would love to play a boat show. Yeah, we're open to doing as much as we can fit into our schedules, and it's really just it's been hard because a lot of events getting canceled and pushed around and moved around.
But
it's just been hard to find.
Turn us on to those car shows
that we feel comfortable with.
Yeah, and
curious to find out
we'll
about
play
it.
anywhere too. We'll play your backyard barbecue, and one thing about these shows we did that we discussed, there's only 3 of us and there's no vocals. So as long as we have like a power outlet and our amps, like we're good to go. Like anywhere.
Yeah, cool.
We'll play your baby circumcision, whatever you need.
Mazel tov.
Bring your own moil.
So what's going on right now with you guys? You had your first full length, the CD and the vinyl that's coming out, but are you working on other things right now?
Yeah, we've kind of gotten back into a pretty regular rehearsal schedule, and we're starting to write some new stuff. I think we've got 3 or 4 new songs and a couple of kind of partial, I'd say 3 finished songs, and then some good ideas that we're kicking around. So we're trying to work on toward the next thing, whatever that might be. And starting to think about booking some shows, and we need to do I'd really love to do a record release show, which we haven't really had a chance to do. So that is something I'm kind of thinking about as we get into spring and maybe having opportunity to do that.
Awesome. One thing,
Yuri's been working on some cool songs, so I'm kind of just waiting for him to bring more ideas in, because I like the direction that he's been writing.
I'm not a machine, man.
I know. You got a lot going on, but my wife and I had a kid in May. We had our first son, so I've been kind of busy with that. I haven't been playing guitar as much as I'd like to, but thankfully Yuri has picked up some of that slack.
Congratulations very much. That's wonderful. That's
wonderful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
The first
it's been
is
a
always
wild ride.
Yeah, I know, right? So one thing I'm curious about, and I have been chatting with Mike from Sharawaji. He's in Japan.
Oh, yeah?
He chatting about getting together to do an interview, but he's so busy all the time. So every once in a while I'll hear from him. What I'm curious is, being in his location, how does that affect where your album kind of lands? Does he have a plant in Europe that he's using, and then you kind of get distributed in Europe? Does he have one in the United States as well?
So he's in Hong Kong, actually, not Japan.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Same part of the world, same general question. And he's like in Hong Kong half the time, and then in Great Britain, which is where he's from originally. I think he's actually back there now because he's got sick of all the quarantine protocols in Hong Kong. Every time he leaves, he has to quarantine for 14 days in a hotel. So he's just like over that. But to get back to your question, he he's worldwide. He used, for a lot of his releases, he uses a record pressing plant in Hong Kong. So the boxes of records that I got all are from Hong Kong. And then, he distributes through the label, through the website, the sharawaji.com. And then he also runs Surf Rock Radio, that internet radio station. So he does a lot of promotion through that. And then just, with his roster of bands, everybody is sort of supportive of one another. So he has bands from all over the world as well. I mean, he's got a handful of bands from the United States, from all over the United States, but then he's got bands from Europe, bands from Asia. I think he's got a Russian band in the roster as well. So
Canada.
He's just trying to build the label as much as possible, and sort of, be very diplomatic about it as well. He wants to help the surf music community as much as he can.
Yeah, and he's really making a lot of connections between the bands. I think a lot of the bands start talking now. They learn about each other, and he's creating quite a network amongst the bands. Would you agree?
Definitely, yeah. That's kind of what I was speaking to. He, just from being part of the label, I've had, not one-on-one conversations because we're all over the place, but as conversations online with different groups, talking about the possibility of doing some touring and some one-off shows here and there out of town, and having bands come to Baltimore. I do. Pre-pandemic, I was doing a monthly show at a club here in Baltimore called the Auto Bar, and I called the night the Auto Bar Shrunken Head, and it was strictly instrumental surf music, once a night or once a month. And I DJ surf music, and then I get usually one local band and then a band from out of town to come in, that was a great way to network too. Not a whole lot of surf music in Baltimore. There's a handful of local bands. We got like the Flying Faders. I don't know if you've heard of them. Atomic Mosquitoes are local.
Oh yeah.
And a couple newer, younger bands too. So, but just through doing that, from booking surf music, I was starting to meet more bands as well, and that never hurts because surf music isn't the biggest, most popular genre in the world, but it's people who like it are very passionate about it. So.
Yeah. Well, it's not yet. There could be a Pulp Fiction too.
Yeah, right.
Bring it back, maybe bring it back. We were just on a film soundtrack. Actually, the song "Tiki Torture" was that made it.
Really?
That made it. You've heard of like B movies?
Yeah.
This movie was like more of like a C or D movie, I guess you would say. So it was streaming on Amazon Prime for a while. I think you can still rent it on there, but it was called If These Porches Could Talk. So it was like an indie filmmaker, and they actually put on YouTube. You can look up the music video. They made like kind of some scraps footage from the movie itself, but we get 2 plays in there, and once is during the critical hospital escape scene on Halloween, no less, and then we also get rolled again during the credits are rolling at the end too. So it's pretty it's pretty cool. So
and
they asked if we.
That's super cool. How do you guys get connected up with a filmmaker who's who's doing a movie, especially who's looking for soundtrack work?
I have no idea.
I think they found some
contacted
on.
us.
I think they found some of the old demos on Bandcamp or something.
Something like
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah, they just heard one of the demos, and we happened to be like in the middle of recording, and they wanted to use Tiki Torture because we had a demo of it, and we had a new finished version, so we were able to give them that. But yeah, I think they just it was pretty much a random connection, and they reached out to us, and we were kind of like, well, they were like, we can't pay you anything. And I was like, well, we should get something out of it. So I asked if they could, in return for using the song, if they could sort of make us this little like montagey video, and they agreed to it. So we have a video. It's really kind of bizarre though. If you look it up on YouTube, I think you can look up Bali Lamas Tiki Torture, and that'll come up.
And that's on your YouTube channel, correct?
Yeah.
So something new I started is there's featured channels on our YouTube channel, and we link all the bands and labels we interview. We link to them on our featured channels section, so you guys are on there now.
Cool.
So they could go right from this interview right to your channel, check you out, check out that cool video, and kind of make a little web of everybody, and get the word out.
That's great. Yeah, we'll have to. We need to do another video or something to increase our presence on the YouTube, the old YouTube. Yeah. We kind of slacking on that.
Yeah, is the live one up from the auto bar?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
like-
there's like a couple of videos.
Yeah, like even if it's just a jam video, that's cool. Some people like to watch that. Okay. All right. So the awkward silence.
Hi.
it's hard to try not.
Was that a
It's
question?
hard not to try and talk over each other on Zoom, right?
I know, right? So where can people find your music? I know sharewisey.com probably sells it, but can they get it directly from you?
You can check us out. We are on Bandcamp, so you can just search for Bali Lamas and we come right up. Our album's also on Spotify right now.
Is it really?
I'm missing. Is that it?
I didn't even know it was on Spotify. That's cool.
we
thought
just
we were
started
on-
getting the
are we
vinyl
not
into
on
some local
Spotify?
records.
we
Then we just started getting some of the vinyl into the record stores here in Baltimore, I think, too, right?
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So Celebrated Summer here in Baltimore is carrying the record. I was waiting for Mike to. He told me to hold off on trying to get it into more stores because he's working on something with the label to get his catalog picked up by a bigger
Distributor.
by more record stores. So
Yeah.
main way to get in touch with us basically would be through Bandcamp, though. It's a pretty good interface, and you can buy the record there, you can stream the songs, you can buy merch or whatever. So not a bad option.
Awesome.
And you can always get in touch with us on Facebook or Instagram as well. We have both accounts are active, and we follow through with those as well.
There's extra stuff on our Instagram too. There's live clips. There's all sorts of fun stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Instagram is it seems to be becoming more useful to bands in music content than Facebook. Facebook's more like group oriented chat kind of. Would you say Instagram helps you guys the most?
It's all a rich tapestry, Instagram, I think, is and this is just me speaking, I think it's better for content and engaging with people. We still use Facebook a lot. That still comes in handy for booking shows or interviews.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's good for posting events and stuff like that too. So since
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
pop on and see the calendar and stuff. So for shows and everything, that's where I go to like find out what shows are going on around. But
Nice.
That's all I use it for.
So, before we sign off, I want to give you the opportunity to maybe mention something or ask something or talk about anything that I haven't asked about.
What are your influences?
My influences, musically.
Or, you know, like who's an interviewer that really just changed up your game?
I might get sacked for this, but I like Joe Rogan.
Well, I did check and we are actually on Spotify. So there you go.
Not afraid of
stand in
controversy.
That's
solidarity with Joe Rogan.
Well, it's not even. I was watching him when he was on YouTube. I
Okay.
really don't follow him on Spotify anymore. But it's not
Uh-huh.
it's not necessarily his politics that I enjoy as much as his interview style. He interviews very interesting people, and in like when he does scientists and things like that, as psychologists, there's really no biased way to approach that subject. So the politics of it is kind of like is kind of out the door. I don't enjoy politics. So when that came into play, I was like, oh man.
Everything's political now.
Yeah, you can't avoid it, right?
Yeah.
But not surf music, baby. No lyrics.
Just party.
Come out. It's good
The
to
lyrics.
dance.
It's really hard to be political as a surfer.
Yeah, it's good to dance too. You know,
Not a whole lot of
Order-
neo-Nazi surf fans.
put a lei around your neck, order up a Mai Tai, put a gal on one arm and start dancing, baby.
Nice.
It's all
Nice.
good.
All right, guys. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for your time. I really had a good time talking with you and learning about the band, your new music you're working on, and listening to your record today. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, man.
Cool. Thanks for having us, Ryan.
Thanks
Yeah,
so much,
thanks a lot.
guys.
We appreciate it.